we're supposed to have kicked off at 7, but we're just a wee bit late. The meeting is live streamed to YouTube. Health and safety go very quickly. If you need to get out, go that way, and we'll meet out at Texas Street. There is another exit behind us if you need it, and also that's where the toilets are should you need them. If we experience any interruptions, we will halt the meeting. I'm sure this group will not cause any such things to occur. Would you? No. And we'll start on my right-ish. Start with a karakia.
Yes. Kia ora te marino, kia whakapapa whanau te moana. E huarahi mā tātou i te rangi nei, aroha atu, aroha mai, tātou ia tātou katoa, hui e tai.
Thank you. So we have apologies from Pip Maynard. What about Mel? Mel Maynard is an apology if you can't link in. Thankfully, Aidan's come on board. So you were an apology, Aidan, but now you're back in. So can I have a
Karen Crow.
And Karen Crow, sorry. So can I have a mover to accept the apologies?
I'll accept the apology.
I guess I'll second them.
Okay.
All those in favour say aye.
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 Good. All those against? No, you don't get a vote. So do we have any conflicts of interest? No. No. Any acknowledgements or tributes? No. No. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I'd just like to acknowledge the passing of Dave Thurlow, long-standing member of Martinborough Community. And prior to coming to Martinborough, he had also served many years in the New Zealand Police out of Wellington. So condolences to the Thurlows on Dave's passing.
Thank you for that. Right, we're going to move to public participation. Now, I've got them in an order, so if I call out your name and come up and present, please come up and present on the seats. You'll get 5 minutes. Nikki will give you an indication at 4 minutes. It's usually quite useful if there's any questions that you leave a minute at the end if you can do, so we can ask any questions if they're there. So, Kurnui College. Oops. Didn't they turn up? Hey, we'll just put that aside. Foundation for Equity and Research. Pip McLean, that's you?
It's me.
Okay, you understand the rules and that? Good as gold, okay.
I'm picking it off a Kindle tonight.
That's right, you can work off anything you like.
Very first time, so brush fingers. Hope it works.
Are you going to, just interrupt me, going to speak to your presentation, or you got some new information to impart?
Speak to it and a little bit of new information.
Very good.
If that's
Thank you.
Right. Lovely. Thank you. Kia ora, my name is Pip McLean. I am a community coordinator with the Foundation for Equity and Research New Zealand, or FERNZ for short, because the full name's quite a mouthful. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. FERNZ is a kaupapa Māori governed charitable trust that was established in 2018 by Bernadette and Tristram Ingham. Our mission is to amplify the voices of those that are too often excluded from decision making. The communities we work with include the disabled community, Māori and Pacific communities, rainbow communities and children. We support these communities to lead change, the change that they want to see in their own communities. Over the past 18 months, FERNZ has established 5 disability-focused community action groups, or CAGs, across the Wellington region. We have them in Kapiti, Hutt Valley, Wellington, Porirua, and here in the Wairarapa. These groups were born out of a need that was brought to us to bring together people with lived experience of disability, to identify barriers, and to lead practical community-based solutions. It's not top-down advocacy, it's grassroots, lived experience, leadership and action. Project I'm speaking about tonight is titled Lead the Change, Accessibility in Action Across South Wairarapa, another mouthful. It was developed by our Wairarapa CAG, many of whom are based in the South Wairarapa, and they bring their local knowledge, commitment and connection with them. With support and funding from an organisation called Te Po, our community action group participated and completed a leadership training focused on accessibility and inclusion. And now they're ready to practice what they've learned. Our 5-month initiative will involve visits to public buildings in each of the 3 South Wairarapa towns. They're not formal audits, they're hands-on, strength-based learning visits where participants will be able to practice the skills they've learned, share insights and engage with the wider community. The aim is to raise awareness, to strengthen community leadership and connection, and to celebrate inclusion and action. Our group is proudly Wahine led. Most members come from the South Wairarapa and they are so passionate about where they live and where they work. Our group reflects a broad range of ages, backgrounds and lived experience, and this is a richness that makes the work even more impactful. The total cost of our project is $3,424 excluding GST. Now don't panic, we're not asking for the full amount. We're using the shared funding approach and we've requested 856 from each of the 3 community boards. And I'm pleased to let you know that both Greytown and Featherston community boards have already confirmed their support. We also applied to the WBS Charitable Trust for funding. Unfortunately, our application was unsuccessful. Your contribution would be the Martinborough portion of the project, would help cover accessible transport, light refreshments, any resources we need, and coordination to make sure that all our members can fully participate. The specific public building that to be visited in Martinborough hasn't been chosen yet, so if you had any suggestions, we genuinely welcome them. This project is about more than accessibility. It's about disabled people having a visible, active role in shaping their communities and doing so with pride, purpose and peer support. Your support would enable this important work to continue here in Martinborough and to help foster a community where everybody can thrive. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I can now report reading off paper is much easier than Kindle. Much easier.
One question I have.
Certainly.
What is the standard of disability aid for buildings here at the moment?
Standard.
Or what is the level of aids that are there? Is there much, or are you working from ground zero?
Sorry, I'm not trying to be difficult. I'm not.
Okay. What facilities do we have for disabled to move around?
Got you.
Okay.
In Martinborough, when we're not 100% sure, that's why we would like to choose a building in Martinborough. The feedback I've had is that Martinborough is pretty accessible.
I just personally observing, I think we are reasonably good.
Yes.
There are some older buildings that
Yes.
have some issues, but I think we're reasonably good.
Yes.
But I just wondered, it was only a question I wanted to know on that. So that's probably your 4-minute.
Well, no,
Deborah.
yeah, have I got the chance for, can I have a quick question?
Quick question here, Bob.
Quick question, thanks, Pip. So really, really interesting. Thank you for the presentation. Now, as you've applied for an amount under the $1,500, we didn't ask for your accounts on this occasion, but as you were applying to South Wairarapa District Council for the greater sum, I did actually look up the financial position of funds.
Yes.
So just to know, and in your accounts, you have a current asset listed, current asset of $500,000 and a balance of $644,000. What do you always go to projects to be funded by where you're going and not use any of the reserves?
The money that we have in the bank, some of it is earmarked for other projects that Ferns is doing, and some of it is an endowment that Ferns was gifted by Tristram and Bernadette. It's not for operational funding, it's to ensure the longevity of the organisation. The projects that we do, especially the community action groups, were self-funded by Ferns to prove as proof of concept, and now they've become standalone projects.
Yeah, cool.
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you.
Awesome, thank you.
Yes.
Oh,
So,
You didn't be able to remember what that one.
I didn't got to say that.
sorry, mate, go ahead.
Thanks for that. A question, you've talked about South Wairarapa residents being involved in the group to do the survey. How many South Wairarapa residents are you working with, and will you be engaging with for this project?
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that live in the South Wairarapa, one that has just recently moved. We have some that come down from Masterton. A lot of our members come to the South Wairarapa on a regular basis, and I'm here more often than I'm at home, so.
So, okay, so 5 residents out of the South Wairarapa. How many collectively across the whole Wairarapa will be involved in this project, or this assessment?
We are hoping about 10. Some of our members can't commit to every meeting or every session because they have health issues. If they can't make it, we will try and Zoom them in because we want to be as inclusive as possible. Mm-hmm. But we understand that sometimes people just can't come out, but we're aiming for about 10.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Oh. Okay, that's it.
Would you excuse me if I leave your meeting straight away because I have
know you're free to
Yeah.
No, you don't have to.
very much.
Please do.
Thank you.
Don't hold the people at ransom. Right, next one on the list is cobblestone. Same rules. You're free to leave as soon as you've finished if you wish.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Lynn Bushell. I'm the chair of Cobblestone's Trust Board, and I have with me this evening, you're probably well known, is Graham Gray, who's our operations manager. And our application is a tripartite one across the 3 community boards to help us with the health and safety and building compliance we need at Cobblestones. I'm going to hand over to Graham because he's the person that can ask any specific questions that you may have on the work that's being done.
Okay. So again, same question to you. Are you presenting as per your document or are you going to talk?
No, as per the presentation.
Okay. Very good.
Before I start, I thank you for your grant as from last year, which was for the cleaning of the spouting and the washing and spraying of the roofs, moss, or part of the maintenance on our heritage buildings.
Very good.
So thanks very much for that.
Welcome.
So, but this application goes a step further. It is for the cleaning of the spouting and also for the warrant of fitness that we have to have done every year. And also for the pruning of our trees. We have 3 heritage listed trees on the site, so they've got to be pruned annually. And of course, health and safety comes very much part of all 3 actually. We just don't have a choice of whether we think we'll do them or not. It's an annual cost that we have to front up with, the spouting used to be done, which I think I said last year, by the local lions, but because they're all aged, they just don't offer their services anymore. And unfortunately, our volunteers involved in cobblestones are all very aged as well. I think our average age would be probably around 75.
Very young then.
Very young. So we don't encourage ladders or anything to be used on the site anymore. So our only option is to bring in contractors. We got to the stage we just don't have any option anymore. So we have a greater cost, and of course their costs go up every year as well when you're using outside contractors. So we're pledging to the 3 community boards to help us fund our 3 annual costs. Lynn did the application and she's done a very good job in explaining it all. So I'm not sure whether there's any more I can explain, but I'm
To be perfectly honest, you've done
It's
a
already-
good job of scripting what you're doing here.
Yeah.
It's really if you want any other information to pass on to us that you think of, understand what you're facing.
rising costs, and it is getting very, very hard now to get funding to cover anything to do with administration. Funders now, they've gone more towards welfare and
Environment.
environment and sustainability. Yeah, so we find it very hard to get any funding, even for a project now. We're finding it very hard.
So I don't have very much of my question. You put 2 quotations together. Are they the 2 bits you're going to be working for? One of them's for the property cleaning and the other one's for tree maintenance. Is that right?
And the warrant of fitness as well. Yeah.
Can I?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you came to us June last year and June this year. So do you foresee this is actually going to be a regular request from our community boards because you've got funding shortfalls from other sources? So in an ideal world, would you like to think that this was available on a yearly basis, that we were able to actually see?
Unfortunately, I think I'd have to say yes on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this fund is
And what's the attendance like at the moment? How many visitors are you getting through?
We're getting just over 8,000 a year at the moment.
That's good.
And we're bringing online a new venue, which we're hoping will pick that up even more. Because we're a volunteer organisation, our operational funding comes only from those that walk through the museum. Everything else we have to try and fund ourselves.
Yeah.
And it's
Easy. It's not easy, no. But you've got that fabulous illumination walk coming up.
yes, well, we've got our
Okay.
fingers crossed on that one.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Really good.
we only get a very small portion of that because
Oh,
it's,
really?
it's actually a country village heaven.
I only bought the ticket because I thought I was supporting you.
Yeah, we're not getting a huge amount out of that, but
Oh,
we're not. If it's successful, which looking at the chatter that's going on online,
Yeah.
hopefully it will come back again. It's brought up from the South Island, that particular one, so
I didn't.
yeah, it's got a huge expense on the back end of that particular one. Get it in.
Cool. Thank you.
Aidan, you've got a question?
Thanks. Evening, Graham. Thanks for your narrative. I'm just wondering, are you applying other than to the community, the 3 community boards, to any other organisations? Are you applying to Great Ann Trustlands Trust, or do you receive funding from Great Ann Trustlands Trust for any of these projects?
We cannot get any more from Great Ann Trustlands Trust because they consider their rental that they give us for $1 a year to be their contribution towards our operating expenses. So there's nothing there. I'll tell you what, I am applying to absolutely everywhere I can. And the interesting thing that is coming back from organisations that even do give operational funding, when I go in and ask and say we're looking for funding for this, they're saying 5 years ago, you'd have been fine. Now they're getting so much social need out there that they are swinging definitely towards social causes or social investment. And it is getting more difficult just to find operational funding, apart from hopefully the council later in the year or whenever.
So at council are now employing a funding coordinator, Lena, and there's also council have also subscribed to a funding, well, I suppose a funding service or a funding database. Have you been speaking to Lena and helping and accessing that funding database and how?
We're on.
Onto that.
Yeah, we're on Grant Guru. I've got all of them picked that I think we can go for. And yes, definitely been talking to Lena. And we are, when we get the funding to do it, we're going to get Lena to come in and actually help us set up a whole new way of doing our fundraising or lead us on how we can do that for ourselves. So
Yes.
she's got some ideas which we have read about, but don't really know how to go about doing them in the community. So yeah, we're asking Lena to come in and actually give us some assistance on that.
That's great.
We're doing everything we can.
Major.
One
Thank you.
question.
Thank you.
Outside application for grants, do you do any fundraising yourself?
Yes.
You do, that's right.
Yeah, we have our Friends of Cobblestones, and they do events like our spring fair, our Christmas carols, and various other things that they may or may not doing. We've got a quiz night coming up, and they are constantly sitting and looking at ways that they can do something that will bring in fund. And yeah, definitely.
Clearance sales.
Yeah, I've forgotten about the sales. Yes, yeah. So yeah, we're trying really hard.
No, look, I
Yeah,
just want to make sure that's what I was doing.
yeah, no, thank you.
So that's the end.
I'd just like to invite you to come to Cobblestones. You can just ring Julie.
Yep.
And we're happy to meet you and take you through the whole complex.
I came last
We
time.
want to do so.
I did come to the last time you invited us and it was such a good day.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed it. Good visit.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Shannon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Graham.
Thank you, Aidan.
Thank you.
Starting by business. Everyone.
My name's Connor, for anyone who doesn't know, and we're basically winging it because our the person who's been pulling together our project is unable to this month. Here representing her and just generally the project, and I don't think we'll go too much into the actual application. You guys have read it. There's quite a bit of detail there. Quite a bit of detail there, and basically I think Dudley and I'll just touch on a couple of themes which we're really trying to get out of it. Is obviously it is all about prospering in winter for the wider community. Obviously the business community will have direct benefit, but we're making sure there's plenty of items hopefully coming out of the Pour and Explore proposal that is free and just stuff to do for sort of community wellbeing and
Family oriented.
just things to do in winter to help put spring in people's step, basically. Yeah, and we'd love obviously the council to get behind us and help us out because it's tough for business out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I take this as sort of like a rolling idea of things happening. There's
Yeah, like I said, we're a program over the month of August, and we had a cutoffs tomorrow for businesses and groups to submit their idea, and then we'll hopefully circle the wagons next week and find out whether or not it's a go. And
so what's your gut feeling?
pretty good. Yeah, there's been some positive uptake.
Yeah, so the program has 36 spaces for events and all spaces are full. That's from those that have registered their interest. There's a bit of flexibility. We've got a small window of time before we need to go to print. So there is flexibility for those businesses to edit or change their events up, but there's been a massive uptake and interest from all businesses, including retail, which we've always struggled to support from a business association point of view. It's normally been around tourism, so they've literally all come on board. There's some really great events happening in some of those retail spaces with some masterclasses, etc. Most of our major wineries have all come on board with some really interesting events. Columba are doing a sauna event and all prior. Palliser are doing like a pop-up movie theatre using the Noodles, movie screen. So they're all getting really creative. We obviously have a band, so we have 3 events that we're putting together, which is a 80s, 90s band from Wellington, which will be one of our major events, a ticketed event.
So what was it, the 1890s?
90s. And that's really
I was just a youngster then.
yeah. So that's a go. Got Roundup, which is more which is an event in the town hall as well for producers, so our olive producers, wineries, and any other food producers. There's been a massive uptake in that, so wineries will also be able to retail their wines from the premise. We've spoken with council and they're on board with an off license provision for that, which is really amazing. A kind of craft market, that's Josie Bidwell and their crew have pulled together all their creative people to put on a meet the maker kind of market. So there's some really great events coming out. Everybody's really excited. We've got olive producers on board, collabing with restaurants. There's been some really interesting collaborations and events in the mix. Cool.
Just a question, and I don't know if this is supposed to come into it, but have you got any feel what the public are thinking about it? Have you canvassed that, or is that followed?
No, we just went with the fact that everyone's pretty bored in the middle of winter. Something's got to be.
Fair enough. No.
I think there's a lot to talk about. I think the fact that a lot of the business community on board, we've already rolled out social media, so that's been happening over the last month, and the uptake from that and the feedback from that has been really positive. There will be posters and a bit of marketing going out to the Wellington region.
Got access to the New Zealand database.
Really?
Yeah, perfect.
Good.
Oh,
So I mean, we didn't have a massive time frame to pull this together, but we wanted to kind of put some effort into it and hopefully grow it every year into an event over winter. I think we spoke to it at our last meet with you that we could roll it into other events like the Taste of Wairarapa wine event, the music event that comes up in September. So really wanting to make sure that we connect all the months in the winter so that it's.
Can I ask a couple of quick questions? So so a couple of things. So community events, so obviously being the community board, it's where our heart and our passion lies for those free activities. So and you're getting a marquee. Why do you need a marquee? Questions. Questions. But I
think.
Good question. Good question.
No, that's what, it's just when I looked through, I could see there was venue hire, and I was thinking if it's things in the town hall, there's often a chance to apply for a rent remission if it's for something that is not a charged event.
Yes.
Fans are different, obviously that's commercial, but if there was markets or something
Yes,
that
so I believe part of the roundup was utilising the park.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
I think utilising.
Town hall's too full.
Yes.
Outside,
Yeah, and maybe incorporating food trucks for when the band was on and having a space where people could commune outside.
Community outside, yeah. So obviously, from a community board point of view, it would be community events that were free to attend that would I think, bringing business into town, absolutely. But it'd be those focusing around those events that we know that everyone's got access to as well would be awesome. But a lot of buzz around it in town. I got stopped 3 times yesterday and asked me, did I know more about it, what was happening? And I did come across the sauna man as well.
Yes, and I think even the fact that, we pushed it out to mainly our members.
Yeah.
And then the wider community, again, just trying to grow that community support and business support and focus on that
And that was the final question. So what is the cost to the businesses to participate and be part of the event? I'm assuming they're
Yes, so there's different
themselves.
rates, but
Yeah, cool. So that answers that question. So that takes part, the commercial part of it, because they are putting their own money into
Yeah.
backing this. And what you're asking for is seed money to help get through.
And to promote and,
That's
yeah, business is definitely contributing.
yeah, that's why I said I
whether
thought that
whether
was,
they're,
I just thought,
yeah, whether they're a member or not, so.
yeah, awesome, and that was open to everybody. Yeah, perfect.
And there's a lot of detail in the application too.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, you can see.
Awesome.
So, Aidan, do you have a question?
No, I'm fine, thanks.
Okay,
Cool.
so thank you very much for your time for that.
Yeah, thanks.
Just your name,
Dudley Ann.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So
That patient.
that leaves round vines.
Mhm.
So time to start. You said we're not particularly fussed on the timing, but please get your message across as quickly as you can. And if there's questions, we'll ask.
Good evening, councillors and community board members.
Hi, Aidan. Over
Hiya,
there.
Bex.
Obviously, Ed and I have been dealing with a lot in the past with Hinakura stuff, so we know each other quite well. I'm Beck Nicholson, and this is Katie. We are in members of the Round the Vines Community Committee. Round the Vines is the only fundraiser for the Martinborough School. It's an annual fundraiser and it's been running for 27 years. We assist, so the fundraising is to assist funding projects within the school that the Ministry of Education cannot provide us funding for, which is actually a little bit. It's the whole of the Round the Vines team is completely, we're all volunteers, we're all parents, and yeah, over the previous years, we've made around a profit of around $30,000 a year. But in recent years, this has nearly doubled with the amazing support of our parents, supporters, and community. Part of this is due to the sponsorship and the support that's widely increasing to cover the running costs. The running costs are they just keep climbing. And to also maximise the final profit to the school. That's ultimately what we want to do. We just want to lower these costs so we can give as much profit as we can to the school. We're asking for support from the community board to assist with some very large expenses. One of these major expenses is the portable toilets for the course. Our quote for the toilets has increased a lot over the years, and the cost for this has increased to just around about $4,000 a year, which is a substantial increase. So yes, we request funding for the support of those toilets, and I thought I would go through the 4 pillars if that's okay. So in terms of the social wellbeing aspect, the event brings together locals and visitors in a fun and inclusive and safe environment that promotes physical activity and community spirit with both walking and running options with the 10, 21K options. It encourages healthy lifestyles and builds resilience and connection among participants, volunteers and the community. The funds from this event are going to be going towards the resurfacing of the entire concrete courts of the area of Martinborough School. If you've been to Martinborough School recently, the concrete is just all over the show, and obviously lots of the kids are on scooters, and it is a dangerous place.
They're getting cleaned up daily.
There's lots of it.
Yeah.
It also provides, not just for the school kids, but it provides other opportunities to use this area for sporting practice for other sports groups, because we know that there's lots of sporting groups that use the facilities at the school for their practices and things like that as well. So yeah, it's just the school. In terms of the environmental pillar, we strive to minimise environmental impact by promoting reusable cups, and we've been implementing comprehensive waste management practices. We've been working with Non-Stop Solutions to adhere to this as well, and they've been doing some good work with us in the past. The routes also, we've actually got a brand new course map this year, which is fantastic. So all new vineyards, and I think that's going to be a real big draw card for people. And it highlights Martinborough's natural beauty. Economic wellbeing, obviously it's a major local event that draws in hundreds of visitors into Martinborough. And we, in terms of the marketing, we are marketing outside of the Wairarapa and Wellington, because we want people to stay for the weekend. We don't want them to just come in for the event and go. We want them to be in the week, be here for the full weekend, and support all the businesses that are obviously supporting the event. Cultural wellbeing, the event celebrates our community's unique identity, featuring music and food, and also the event reflects the diversity and heritage of our region.
Awesome. Just did it. Well done. Well done. Well done.
Thank you.
Oh,
Okay, I don't have any questions.
I have quick
You-
questions.
question?
Yeah. So question, resurfacing, have you applied or are you going to apply to Penn Estate grants for funding towards that project?
That's not actually part of what we do, because we are just part of.
Sorry, I meant has Martinborough School, not
That's
roundabout.
Martinborough School, so we, I can't.
I'm not aware of
what.
so you're not aware of
And what they are, yeah. so-
Yeah, I think the event is awesome. It's the reason I actually live in Martinborough, because I was asked to attend and bring some costumes years ago, 20 years ago. Catherine Jacobs, and that's how we ended up being part of the community. So
Yeah.
big fan of the event, absolutely
Yeah.
big fan of the event. So yeah, so well done. I know there's a lot of work that goes into it. Yeah.
Aidan?
Thanks, Storm. Bex, just wondering if, and I asked the same question earlier on in the evening, have you been in touch with the funding coordinator that council has got on staff to help find different sources of funding?
Yes, I have. I actually also approached them last year as well. The reason being is because in the South Wairarapa Council, there is actually, well, actually, I'll explain it a bit more. In the Carterton District funding options, there's a fund that is allocated just for events.
Yeah.
And we don't have that in the South Wairarapa. So if we had that event, what is it called, an event fund or event? Yeah. And so I actually approached Lena and there's two ladies. I actually approached them to see if that was something that South Wairarapa District Council was actually looking into as well. And they said that they would let me know if it was ever looked into. But yeah,
Good.
it's just, yeah, it's because I think Marston has it and Carterton, they have this like event fund so that in the event you have an event, you can apply for those, but obviously we would go through these.
Hey, Aidan, would the community funding be a source?
Which,
No. With the increase going to community funding, would that be a source for them?
The youth and
to be-
sports. Well,
the community wellbeing fund you're talking about, Storm?
Yeah.
Like I don't,
I did apply for the Wellbeing Fund last year.
That was what they've done.
This is-
You mean the community and youth fund is what we're talking about?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
through you, Chair, I'm not sure about the timing for community and youth,
Yeah.
just noting that it is the elections in October, so we haven't got dates yet for community and youth. Yeah.
Ignore that question.
Cool.
Thanks, Aidan. Anybody else?
any other questions?
It's pretty well documented what you're doing, and you just explain some extra stuff which I've taken notes on, so that's very good to know.
I really wanted to pinpoint also one thing, there's so many things, obviously, there's a lot of costs.
It's
I really want-
30,000 now to run.
Yeah, I saw that.
So in some of these bigger ones around some careless, the ambulance, so obviously we have for health and safety, we have to have ambulances, the traffic management for the roads. And now also we're trying to, and also non-stop that Bex mentioned, which is waste management, because we're trying to improve, it's a big event with 1,100 people coming and there's a lot of consumables.
Yep.
So we're trying really hard to be better with our waste management. So that's another big one. So all of these things, it's just costs are going up everywhere, right? So yeah, so we're just looking to try and keep maximising profits.
One of the things that might be a touch point now is the traffic management.
Yeah.
Do you go through a contractor?
We've actually got, and we've actually got somebody in our community who is, in our school community, a parent who is taking on a lot of it and is sponsoring that work, which is incredible.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because, the government's putting a stop on the amount of traffic management, and for your event, it should be minimal.
Yeah.
And especially this year,
This year we
moved the whole map.
So we've taken out State Highway, which is, we're
That was a-
going all to the east,
So it's
To
good like,
east side of town, to the east side of town. So yeah, which will bring that cost down. So yeah.
It's another part.
And health and safety obviously around that and with, not going over Kitchener Street. Yeah.
Awesome.
well, that's it. I don't have any more questions.
No.
Yeah, any questions?
Katie, what was your last name?
Oh, gun going. Yeah.
Okay, so
Awesome.
thank you for that. Well, we're quite happy with your input. Unless you've got something else to say,
That's all. Thank you very much. Lovely.
thank you.
Good to see you, Bex.
Good to see you, Aidan.
It's like a bromance going on.
Oh, something going on,
Free.
going on.
I'm a Korean.
Storm, there have been lots and lots of phone calls and lots of emails over the years,
Fair enough. Okay.
but
Thank
we
you.
got the result.
Very good.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Moving right along, where are we at? Done the public participation. Do we want to discuss the outcomes of that now or?
The minutes.
Yeah, do that when you get to the report.
Okay, right. So we'll move on. Any urgent business? No.
No, we can.
Confirmation of minutes. Now, we didn't do the last meeting because it was cancelled, so we have no minutes from that, but we've taken the minutes from the previous meeting. I do believe they're reasonably correct.
There's one correction, if you remember, that was communicated by email, just in regard to this 1413 to support the CCTV repair maintenance.
Oh, yeah.
That's a typo and should be 1430.
Okay. We can look at that.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, so that's been adjusted.
You're happy for me to adjust that?
So can we have somebody propose that we accept them?
Yeah.
And I'll second it. So
Yeah.
away.
Where's he gone? Have we lost him?
He's still there, but not there.
Okay. it's gone.
Okay, do we have any matters arising from previous minutes?
Meetings.
Meetings.
The action items that were highlighted in the
I
minutes.
Shannon's got a comment to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought about the actions items report and I would like to have an opportunity to actually resolve all of those actions and see where they're at. So I thought instead of coming today and going away and having to work on actions, it would be better to get a better understanding and hopefully some of those action items are solved. So I can come back to the next meeting and have that thing off.
Now, this is my proposal that we move forward to item 11, which is the chair's report. We want to tick some of those things off.
Sure.
But we need him there, don't we?
Right, actually, with item here, we need to suspend the meeting.
Is he?
Hey, sir.
Here he is.
Yeah, on the left, he just got.
Oh, right. Okay, great. Perfect.
Are you still available for a while?
Sorry,
You still available for a while?
If we go through those.
available
finish
for a
the
while.
Yeah, okay, because we're just going to go to the chair's report, which we have a few things to. Have you seen the report, the agenda or not?
Sorry, Storm.
Have you seen the agenda?
Yes, I have. I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, cool.
Okay, that's good. So you know what we're going to go through. So look, many of these are just going to be, yes, we're going to do them. So the first one is we've got a workshop on Thursday, the 26th of June, which is for members to get together with staff and look at the insurance monies and home for the homestead and cottage requirements relating to Payne Estate. And if we have any further feedback, we should bring it to that meeting.
Yep.
Okay. There's nothing else. I don't know if you're attending. I don't think you're on the list to attend. You are on the list. Okay.
Yep.
Is that all right with you, Aidan?
Yep.
Good as gold. Applications received at this point for Payne Estate funding are as follows. We've got the Netball Club, Martinborough School, Martinborough Tennis Club, Martinborough Pump Track. Is there any further ones coming in?
Not that I'm aware of at this stage.
No, but there are some pending.
I haven't, well, the fund is still open at this stage.
Yeah.
So there could be
Okay.
Yeah.
very little coming through.
Right.
Hayden's got a question.
So
What's the total value that the community board's putting up for funding? Have you set a value, the dollar value?
I
50,000 was set at the meeting.
we said it fairly for,
Still meeting
yeah,
stuff.
but we need to get that approved if we get it through.
Thanks.
Okay, so the other thing to that is we have the community board meeting on Saturday. And we have advertised for people, if they have questions around applications, they can come along and ask questions then. So that's right. The next on the flag schedule, now I was going to get.
Yeah, so quickly on that, the schedule hasn't been updated. I thought I'd updated it for the following year, so I will send a copy of the flag schedule out, so you've got one for your records, and bring it to the next meeting.
Yeah. So what you need to perhaps understand is people who want to put flags up come to us. And then we approve them.
Yeah.
And sometimes we put them up if there's nobody else to do it, but quite often the
They make
industry themselves make their own arrangements to put the flags up.
Yeah.
And it's a relatively straightforward task, isn't it?
Yep.
Now that we've done it 17,000 times, you know. All right. Now, the next thing, do we have to, we just confirm the board's nomination for the Volunteers Award? And I think we all agree that it was Charlotte. Did you have any, I don't know if you replied to us.
I think
Charlotte.
I think Charlotte's a great stalwart of the community and worthy of nomination.
Well,
For
that's
sure.
just really confirming that we all support that. So do we need to have a vote
What's
or
Charlotte's surname?
Harding?
Harding.
So that should have been
Want to put a
through.
motion to support.
Okay,
Charlotte
we want to
Harding.
just put a motion
Yeah.
to support that.
Yeah.
Andrew supports. I will second.
Excellent.
And we have a vote. Anybody in favour, say aye.
I'll say I say aye.
Yep. So
Thank
that
you.
is carried. I have attached to this the last meeting we had for the Considine Park user group. There's not much significance there, but there is some activity going on from some of the groups that use the park, and you'll see the notes in there to briefly explain what's happened. A lot of it will come about with further work to be done around the pump track, and Charlotte in particular has some issues to run with that. So I think we can just say that Considine Park does need some other work, which there's supposed to be some work can be set up to do, which is like painting the entrance gate down by the swimming pool, which was supposed to be done, but there was a group getting up to do that. So do you have any other issues on Considine Park?
No.
Okay, so a resolution for the Payne Estate funding. Martinborough Community Board retrospectively agreed to Payne Estate Fund to open on the 25th of May, which it has done, and to close on the 30th of June, which it will do. Do we need to do a vote?
Yeah.
Second that.
On second?
Second, yeah.
Pretty much, that's the only way we could work it.
Well, the three of us. Let's get Ed and Sue.
Okay, so that's ticked off. Now, these are two things that we have to do in retrospect, and I think I'm comfortable with the wording. Have you looked at the lady? I know you don't wish to be involved, so that's fine. You can abstain from these, but it might make it tricky for tonight.
Can't do a resolution. You can't do it then.
Majority.
Majority?
No,
Okay.
can.
All right.
He can abstain.
Oh, you could-
So
Abstain.
So do we need to read them out, or does everybody know from the reading of the document what we're going to be voting on?
That is your resolution.
Yeah.
Support
It's
Bev
for
Clark's
Bev
submission,
Clark's submission,
Part 1.
part 1. And move
Yeah,
second.
yeah.
Voting, yes, yes.
I'm going to abstain.
Yeah, it's fine. And the second one is to confirm the support for the board members' submission, which we have done. So.
Yeah.
You and I second.
Yeah.
This resolution to retrospectively
Retro-
agree to delegate to yourself.
To yourself and
To
Karen.
make the submission to the combined Waireka district plan.
And I'm going to abstain again.
Yes, yes, yeah. And we'll have a vote. Aye.
Could we change Karen Crowe to or an alternative member just in case Karen's not available?
You've already done it.
We've already done it.
It has to be Karen. You've already done it.
Okay, that's cool. Can we spell Karen Crowe's name correct? We've got
Oh, yes.
spelling error. It's one of those names that always seems to have an extra U, wasn't it?
K-O-G-H.
Yeah, Cole, thank you. Yeah,
Okay, so
I can move.
vote.
I'll move. Second,
Second vote.
and vote.
Aye.
Aye.
And one abstain. So that's that ticked away.
Done. Perfect.
Right.
No.
Now, if we go back to the parts of the agenda. So thank you for doing that. That was very quickly to get done. We've done the minutes, haven't we?
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're up.
Yeah,
to-
that's just from previous ones.
Yes. Yeah. Look at, do we need to
Accept them, do we?
accept them to come in? Just get confused on the pages.
Still on
That's still on the minutes of the last one, yeah.
Well, this. Oh, unless you want to decide on community development fund report first. Through the.
Do we want to, we'll do that one next, do the community funding next one. We'll just jump ahead to item 10.2.
We can
That is to income expenditure report.
do it just in the income and
Just
expenditure.
show those reports.
To be quite quick anyway.
Yeah.
Obviously, with that as being my very first report with your financials. I simply can just say that I'll take the report as read, and take any questions which I can field back to finance and come back to the board with responses if they have any.
Yeah,
So do you, I'll nominate to take them on. You want a second to
yeah,
accept them?
second.
Done that?
As they are.
I've got a couple of questions, a quick question.
Can we do that first and then
Okay,
motion?
we'll do the question
Yep.
first.
So, MCB 2025-12, the event at the pump track and pool, still got $155 sitting in there. I think we may have finished with that. That might be able to go back into the fund because the event's been and gone.
Is this in the community development fund?
Operational expenditure,
Expenditure.
yeah, so that's down towards the
Oh,
bottom.
here we go. Event at pump track.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
yeah, because I think that money can now be returned.
And I just have a question. In April 25, we had a corridor access Christmas parade backdated, $157. What the hell's that?
Where are we looking here?
And the community board funding thing, it's item number, go down towards the bottom.
Yeah.
I don't understand what it is because it took part in April and the Christmas parade was, funny, it was in December.
I shall get an answer on that and.
I don't know what happened, why that, because there's nothing for that should have happened.
Aidan has a
'Cause-
question.
Because I think that would be the council's charge for process and that should have been taken care of, but that's usually $180.
Yeah, I'll investigate that.
Do you have a question, Aidan?
Yeah, it's probably not relevant until a bit later, but I was going to be asking the question is just to confirm the available funds under the community grant funding for MCB. I suppose that question probably I'll ask that. Well, I should have asked that question in the lead up to deliberating on those grant applications.
Is that the current available fund? Or the availability for next year? But how much is currently?
How much for
now?
tonight's decisions?
Yeah, current fund.
Yeah, current fund,
The statement here is
That in her report.
$7,000,
7,000,
$7,000
but then,
and 73 cents.
Yeah.
Oh, $7,073.
but then
As that,
come the 1st of July, there should be,
So it's anything we may want to defer, we could defer.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So there should be some funding coming in.
Yeah.
My understanding is it'll be 15,000 in July.
I think that's
So,
correct.
what we can't do here, we could maybe defer until 1st of July when we can reconfirm that one.
Yeah, and can we make a note for the, that we're investigating the Wairarapa Balloon Festival to be put to discussion for that $2,500, which was paid out
Yeah, we'll
prior
deal with
to
that one.
the event.
We discussed that before, so we'll wait for their accountability report to come back and then determine if there is any discussion.
So we just need to put on the next agenda. Yeah.
Yep.
So,
If discussion is required.
yeah.
That's right. So other than that, the only thing we'll say is that we never quite get a very accurate statement from state, although we're getting better. But we do have questions always that raise up about the extermination.
Oh, rentals, phenomenally expensive.
What are we doing with that? You look at renticle, Aidan, do you know, is that renticle stuff in the farm or is it in the homesteads? No?
I've got no idea. I'd presume it should be relating to the homestead. You might
I would-
have to fire a question
Yeah.
through and ask that.
Yeah, let's ask Sarah, perhaps can we have a,
So could,
I can do
yeah,
because we will have that discussion by the 26th.
I'd like to know the total that's
Yeah.
been paid for renticle, because I
There
think
seems to be
the
a
rubbish tip might have passed.
continuous range of renticle prices coming up and I don't know what they're doing.
Mine is a lot less.
Hmm?
My renticle,
Oh, no, but I'm just looking at even out there.
Yeah. you know,
Anyway,
Yeah.
okay.
No problem.
so.
Okay. So Aidan, how do we deal with your question?
He's got it, $7,000.
We dealt with that?
Yeah.
I was
$7,000?
going through, but I also saw that there was available funds from 23-24 of 10K. Has that been uplifted and utilised and already handed out, or is that still sitting?
Oh, that was last year's.
It's last year's. It's in the fund.
Right on.
And I guess what they've done is taken it out of what's been processed. That's what I assume.
Yes.
So the bit in the top of blue is all the monies that's inputted.
Yep.
Everything's gone out, and at the bottom, and you can see there's a
Is that
17,500 funds taken out. Few extras, so there's a net value of $7,073.
Okay.
Nothing's been paid out presumably since April, because it's a bit.
We've got a note, you flagged a note to talk about the balloon thing.
And just for record, Shannon, the $500, which was one of the action items, is on the previous miss, is actually answered in this report.
Yep.
So that doesn't need answering.
Perfect.
Yeah, cool.
Okay.
One less question.
Do you have another question? Did you have one more?
No, I made one less question for Shannon to find the answer to. Yeah, cool.
Okay, can we move do we accept the report?
Accept the reports, yeah.
Seconded from me?
Yeah.
Okay. So we go back,
So then,
what? So that, okay. Now, having listened earnestly to all that was presented, they're all pretty good, I think.
well, should we just do them in order?
All right. So Aidan, you happy to deal with these ones now?
Yep.
Okay. So what do we do with coronary collars? They didn't turn up. Now, the young girl probably didn't know.
She said she was coming.
Oh, no, she said she was coming. Something must have happened. Do we want to get in touch with her and ask
She
her?
did confirm. She
Yeah.
did come to the last two meetings also. She's a budget 3 boards.
Oh, right, okay. So she didn't come to this one. Do you want to go back to her and ask her if there's a reason for not attending? So we will not make a
When-
decision on that.
Because the tournament's not till August, so we
Yeah.
can postpone it.
Yeah.
Should we postpone, defer it?
Defer that if need be.
Mm.
The Foundation for Equity,
Yeah, I've got mixed feelings on this one.
well, it did, look, the case initially to me is a very good one. But the funding background is slightly concerning. They have got quite a large funding already sitting there, and here they are asking for 856,000 when they've got something like bloody.
Yeah.
$156.
Yeah,
856, yeah, I was going. $856, yet they've got funding in reserves of over $1 million.
yeah. My concern is if we've only got 5 South Wairarapa participants and they're asking for a total of $3,400, that's actually $684 a head for those few. And I'm a little bit unsure what the outcome would be. For example, if they came here, I can, it's more of a project for them to experience them coming out rather than having the ability to change anything in the buildings that they're going to. I don't think they're going to redesign things.
Well, I think there's some intention is to have a look and see if anything does need to be redone.
The only public building that access here is this building
This one here, the only one I know, is it?
Yeah.
This the only,
in Martinborough.
this the only building name?
Specifically public.
Or-
No, it said public. It said public. No, it did
You
say
could
public
probably,
building.
you could probably take into consideration the council offices
Yes,
And
I was
the,
gonna say
um,
that's-
and the reception area there, which is public.
Yeah, that'd be the only other one, wouldn't it?
Facilities overall in terms of like public facilities.
they just.
No, they asked for one building. Yeah, they did actually say it's for a building. And that we could choose the building.
But just, you muttered something about different number. They've applied for
What they've applied for in total for covering, if you
for
think.
everything you talked about.
It was 3,424. It was 856 from each community board and the same from WBS, which have been declined.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Aidan, what's your thoughts?
I'm struggling. While there's a wider benefit across the Wairarapa district, these are we've got these a few South Wairarapa district residents, I think I would like to, but I think we've got a limited fund available for the applicants that we've already applicants for grants who have applied. So I think I'll decline it.
Should we just park that one to one side and see what we're with the others and then just see where the funding is?
We've got-
Then we might want to give something towards it.
We've got Whirinui and somebody else.
Yeah.
And this one parked at the side at the moment.
Currently deferred, yeah.
Okay, so then we come into cobblestone.
Yeah.
I can fully appreciate what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
Aidan, do we have any money in the Kitty Council for heritage trees? No, okay. So they have to do it.
No, with regards to heritage trees, council runs the register, but council doesn't fund.
Yeah,
I mean, if the trees are on council land, council will that's operational and will maintain or do what's required, but not necessarily not on private land. So there is no fund. It's just like there's no fund for events that Bex was talking about for community events or also provide funding for community events. No.
okay.
I feel it's sad that they keep coming back, but I would hate to lose a facility like Cobblestones and would fully support them on this application.
But look, I tend to agree with that. Well, that it's a worthy cause, and I can see the reason for what they're applying for. And I could see why they can't do it themselves. Now they
They
do,
look like they're working hard.
they do raise their own monies as well for other things. So I would be prepared to support this to the amount they want of 11.76 and 83 cents.
Thumbs up there as well.
Okay, so
Full amount.
we'll all give that a tick, shall we?
Full amount.
Okay, so we've managed to tick off $11.76. So now we come to the Business Association. The only thing I have with this is value that they're looking for.
Yeah.
Whether we can afford that, whether we can give them 2 bites. So one now and later, maybe.
I was keen to know what was the community events in if we could sponsor part of the community events, because I do feel we've got to be a little bit careful with it being too commercial.
Yep.
That we're not supporting something that then they're selling tickets for, like the concert. But I'd be quite happy to support general events. I think it's fantastic that they're actually coming on board and doing something like this and trying to get some support for everybody in town, because I think we need a bit of a lift. So it's whether there is part of it. I mean, I guess it'd be what would we like support up to, and perhaps it can be put against a particular project.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, the amount's a little bit up there.
So.
It's it's what amount we would be comfortable to stick with. Yeah.
Through you, Chair, you could agree an amount up to for community on confirmation of the community needs.
Yeah.
And that could be something.
Yeah, because then that would help with the market.
What I'm sort of support in general, community events, and maybe make a 50-50 split with an option to say come after July, in case we have some.
It'd be too late for them. They've said that. They said that it'd be too late because obviously it starts in August.
Yeah.
Their expenses are all out. But we could ask them. I mean, I'd be comfortable looking at what we with Warapa balloons that we gave them $2,500. I'd be comfortable around a $2,500 contribution towards this. It's seed money for the first year.
Yep. I was looking at the other applications and I was, yeah, I mean, 2,500, 3,000, and then that would leave some left over to go towards, around the vines. So whether it's 2,500 or whether it's 3,000, and then the balance left go towards around the vines.
Yeah, with the Round the Vines one, I think they would be better off if they're trying to raise money for the turfing to actually come to the Penn Farm fund, the Penn State Fund to actually get that specifically.
But I think that's a application for the school to make towards Penn Estate, as opposed, they've come to us and they've talked about the cost of the Portaloos. And that's a $4,000 bill for them. So I would, I mean, I don't believe we've got enough to go completely at 4K right now, but if we did say 3K, there's a significant contribution. And whether the community board wanted to reconsider the balance after the 1st of July.
Yeah, I think I'd be comfortable going half for now, 2,000, and saying to defer to come back to us again in July when we have more funds, and split it and so go half and that on both of those applications.
That would make, in my estimation, 5,676, which would mean we could have the Kirinuri College put in if we needed to, but I'm going to go and ask them to come and we can do that at the next meeting.
You can make a decision if you want to make a decision. Completely up to you if you want to.
For Kirinuri.
Yeah.
Well, why don't we just defer Kirinui's application? Ask them to come back.
That's what I'm thinking. I'd like to see them come here. That would be nice for them to do that. And look, if they could do it for the July meeting, we could confirm it then.
Yeah.
So what we're looking at is the cobblestone 1176.83.
Yeah.
2.5 for the MBA.
Yeah.
And 2 for Round the Vines.
Yep.
And maybe we can invite Round the Vines and maybe not MBA.
Yeah, just give them the option
to come back later for a July option.
Yeah.
You happy with that?
Well, I don't know if we need to invite those guys back. We could just tell them that we will consider their application for the balance at the July meeting. And by the way, what's the date for the July meeting?
It's about 5th or 4th or something, isn't it? It's early July.
Let me check.
No, it's like,
I think it's March.
No, it's when we're doing the Penn Farm funds, isn't it?
Oh, it's about the 20.
It's later.
It's the 24th of July. It's
24th of July. Sorry, I got it wrong.
Yeah, 24th of July.
Thank you.
Yeah, cool.
So, I mean, what you've just said makes sense.
Have some
Are you happy with that? So do we need to?
Can I just clarify the recommendations?
Yes.
So, because we can all do it at one if you're agreeing.
Yeah.
That you're receiving the report, that I'm going to defer Kirinuri to your next meeting.
Yep.
That you're declining the application for FENS. You are providing full support of 1176 to Cobblestone.
Yep.
You're providing 2.5K to Pour and Explore 2025 with consideration of other funding in the next meeting.
Yep.
And you're supporting Round the Vines to the value of 2K with the same action.
Yep.
That's considering the rest of it, of
Yep.
their funding it.
Okay. Can we take that as being read?
So now you can just move and see.
I'll move it.
Second.
It's hand up. There you go.
Oh,
Just let him do it.
Go.
Spread the love.
Okay. Where are we at? Are we at the, is that the end of the finishing? Is it the finish line? What's the time?
Doesn't cut it here.
Oh, we've still got half an hour. Want to talk about the rugby?
No, Storm,
Wants to go to bed.
Storm, I don't want to talk about the rugby, but can I just give a brief rundown on what I know about infrastructure around Martinborough?
Sure. Yeah, appreciate it. I didn't know. if you
So
had
just
time
the
to talk
verbal,
about it.
just
Yep.
a quick rough as guts verbal. My last report from our water engineer, Peter Trafford, was that desludging at the wastewater treatment plant ponds had been 75% completed. I have not had an update as to whether it's been 100% completed, but as soon as I have an update, I will share that with you.
Sorry, Aidan, would weather have an impact on that?
Sorry?
Weather have an impact on the sludging?
Oh, no idea. Sorry, that's a question that
Load it down.
No, it's just that we've had a rough period over the last couple of weeks. I didn't know if that was going to impact it, but.
yeah.
No, yep.
I'll just find his email, and so the last was that it was expected to be completed in the first week of June, with the second week of June spent demobilising and surveying the finished sludge levels before the equipment was going to be transported across to Graytown. So that's where things are the latest. Well, that was a wee while ago, I'd imagine. So that's that. What else was I going to talk about? Pedestrian crossing lighting has all been completed around the square and in Jellicoe Street. The new lights that were installed at the pedestrian crossing in Dublin Street by the primary school have not yet been commissioned, as there's still some work to be done resolving those connections and those issues. But there's going to, from what I understand, there's going to be new signage coming into play once the speed management plan has been finalised. So there's a fair bit of work going to be happening in that space around the primary school, and all going well, those lights will be up and running around then. What were the other issues? The roading guys.
Sorry, Aidan, you're telling me now that the square has been signed off?
Yep, and
Okay.
completed, and all the lights that were installed on the square. I mean,
yep.
Some lights were commissioned and fired up early, and then there was some issues that had to be resolved, apparently with the earthing of some lights on poles, but that's all been resolved. The lights further down Jellicoe Street, past by the Venice Street intersection on that pedestrian crossing, have been commissioned and are in operation. So certainly there's huge improvements on the visibility and the safety of those pedestrian crossings, which is great. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah.
There's been quite a few hiccups, but they've all been resolved. So that's great. And the Rumahanger Roading, Fulton Hogan contractors and so on have been doing a hell of a lot of work on the White Rock Road up past, on the way up to the Wakapuni to the windmills. There was a significant slip and undercut, and there's been a huge project up there over Christmas. So that road is now back to 2 lanes, has been stabilised with work occurring on both sides of the road. So that's been rather significant. And the other stuff that you may have heard, there's been a bit of word in the media about council decisions around Wellington Water. So council has decided to take all the capital water infrastructure projects off Wellington Water, and council are going to run and tender and budget and monitor and oversight those capital projects themselves, while Wellington Water is going to be left with just the standard repairs and maintenance, fixing water pipes, etc. So that's going to occur from the 30th of June, and that Wellington Water will have no more input or no more involvement with any of the capital projects in the water space in the South Wairarapa.
Will the liaison group obsolete?
Sorry?
Will the liaison group become obsolete if that happens? The CLG, or will that continue?
The CLG should still be occurring because,
yeah.
because, yeah, and that was really unfortunate that didn't meet because there's some significant, while Mel had questions, I certainly had questions of Wellington Water. Look, I don't know what the answer is with that. There's still, I mean, Martinborough wastewater treatment plant, Greytown wastewater treatment plants still under abatement notice from Greater Wellington Regional Council. So that goes community liaison group. It also involves Greater Wellington Regional Council enforcement staff to share information. So there will be of note. Greater Wellington fined Wellington Water $750 for a delay in the desludging process. So Greater Wellington, we're not happy with Wellington Water in that desludging process and the time frames, and so for whatever reason, we don't know, but they were penalised and fined.
I don't know if you can answer this, I'm not sure if there is an answer, but with our withdrawal from Wellington Water, are we getting any money back from that?
No, you won't be getting any money back because council funds the projects, those capital projects. So as council as a shareholder, council pays 12% of the operational costs to Wellington Water. So we will still be paying a 12% share of their monthly costs or whatever it is, because they'll still be doing the standard repairs, operational stuff, repairs and maintenance. But if Wellington Water are doing a capital project, i.e. like the desludging process and upgrades to the wastewater treatment plants, the other big project that they were doing was the water pipeline from Greytown to Featherston under the Wharenekau River, and council, after the end of last year with all the publicity around Wellington Water and their tendering process, council staff asked Wellington Water to re-tender that project and to ensure that there was a competitive tender rather than just issuing it out to their tender panel. And as a result of reissuing that tender, the price came back $400,000 cheaper than what had originally been quoted, and the new contractor then had a look at the job and was going to take that job over and start the work at the end of April, but then they decided that the risk of failure during the winter months was too high, so they've pushed that project back and deferred it. And then by the time that is pushed back, council is going to be taking over that capital project anyway, and council will be contracting will be engaging that new contractor without Wellington Water's involvement. So, and there's no money being, I don't believe that there is any money being changed. Well, hopefully there hasn't been any money being handed to Wellington Water for that project. But anyway, that's all part of the work in progress.
All right, that's good. Thank you for that.
Thanks, Adam.
Is that the conclusion?
I think that's it was a bit longer than than a short brief update.
No, that was good.
Appreciate it.
How's field days going?
We haven't closed the meeting yet.
How's field days going?
Close the meeting.
Close the meeting and then ask me.
Okay. Going to close the meeting, sorry.
Mato o mato mahi, mo tēnei wā, manakitia mai mā kātou, o matahua, o mata whānau, ai ki te arangi.
Excellent.